Fear. It's the quiet voice in the back of your mind that whispers, what if it doesn't work out? What if you fail? What if they laugh at you? It doesn't shout, it doesn't demand. It creeps in, subtle and unassuming, until one day you realize it's stolen something precious from you. Your potential. Here's the thing about fear. It thrives in the shadows. It doesn't want you to notice how much control it has over your life. Think about it. How many times have you let fear make the final call? You told yourself it wasn't the right time, you needed more experience, or you weren't ready. But deep down, if you're honest with yourself, wasn't it fear pulling the strings? Fear isn't just about keeping you safe from danger. It's about keeping you comfortable. It hates discomfort and stepping into your potential. That's a whole lot of discomfort. Fear will convince you that staying in your comfort zone is better than risking failure, rejection, or embarrassment. But here's the hard truth. Your comfort zone might feel safe, but it's also where dreams go to die. The biggest problem with fear is its ability to disguise itself as logic. I'll go for it when I have more experience, you tell yourself, or I'll try once things settle down. Those excuses sound so reasonable, don't they? But they're just fear dressed up in practical clothing. The truth is, there's no perfect time to start anything, and waiting for one is just fear's way of keeping you stuck. Fear also has a way of making you question your worth. It tells you that you're not talented enough, smart enough, or strong enough to achieve your goals. It points to others who are already doing the thing you want to do and says, see, they're better than you. Why even try? And the worst part, you believe it. But here's what fear doesn't want you to know. It's lying to you. Every single time. Those people you look up to, the ones out there chasing their dreams and making things happen, they feel fear too. They're not immune to it. They just decided not to let it stop them. The difference between them and the person fear wants you to believe you are is simple. Action. They didn't wait to feel ready or confident. They moved forward anyway. And you can too. Fear isn't the villain it pretends to be. It's not here to destroy you. It's here to challenge you. It's the barrier standing between who you are now and who you have the potential to become. And here's the good news. Every time you push through fear, you weaken its grip. The first step might feel terrifying, but it's also exhilarating. That's the moment you take back what fear has stolen: your potential, your dreams, your life. So the next time fear whispers, what if it doesn't work out? Answer back with, but what if it does? The truth is, fear doesn't have the power to stop you. Only you can do that, and only you can decide to break free. So, what's it going to be? Stay stuck in fear's shadow or step into the light of your potential. The choice is yours. Perfection. It's that shiny, unattainable goal we all chase at some point in our lives, convinced that once we reach it, everything will fall into place. If only we could be perfect in our careers, perfect in our relationships, perfect in our personal lives. Then, and only then, would we be happy, successful, or worthy of love and respect. But what if I told you that perfection is nothing more than an illusion? The truth is, perfection is a moving target. It's like trying to catch a shadow. No matter how fast you run or how hard you try, it always seems just out of reach. You chase it, you strive for it, but you never quite get there. And in the process, you end up feeling like you're not enough. You look at the curated, flawless images of others and wonder why you can't be like them. What's wrong with you? Why can't you just get it together? But here's the thing. Those people, the ones you think have it all figured out, they don't. No one does. The idea that someone is perfect is a myth, and the more you chase that myth, the more you let it control you. It tricks you into thinking you're not good enough, that you need to do more, and be flawless to be worthy of success. And that's a heavy burden to carry. In reality, perfection is nothing but a fear-driven construct that stops you from taking action. It holds you back from starting that new project, launching that idea, or stepping into the unknown. You tell yourself, I'll do it when I have everything figured out. I'll do it once I'm perfect. But perfection doesn't come before action. It comes from it. The truth is, imperfect action is the key. When you start doing things, even if they're messy or unpolished, you learn, you grow, you figure it out along the way. It's through mistakes, missteps, and failures that we become who we're meant to be. Perfection, on the other hand, keeps you stuck in place, paralyzed by the fear of not getting it just right. It's a form of self-sabotage, an invisible force that tells you to wait, to hesitate, to hold back. Think about it. When was the last time you did something that really mattered to you? Something that took courage and vulnerability, and it turned out to be perfect? I'm guessing the answer is never, and that's okay. Because the imperfections, the bumps, the flaws, the rough edges, are what make it real, relatable, and human. The messy parts are where the magic happens. What if you started embracing those imperfections instead of running from them? What if you decided that imperfect action is better than sitting still, waiting for a version of yourself that doesn't exist? Because here's the truth. You're never going to get it perfect, and that's exactly how it's meant to be. Life isn't a finished product. It's a journey, a process, a work in progress. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you'll be free to take risks, make mistakes, and move forward. Perfection is like a safety net. It promises you protection, but in reality, it keeps you from ever jumping. The fear of being imperfect, of looking unpolished or vulnerable, is a fear that holds you back from becoming the person you're meant to be. But imagine if you let go of that fear, just for a moment. What if you let yourself be real? Be human? The truth is, the world doesn't need your perfection. It needs your authenticity. It needs your voice, your story, your willingness to try, even when it's messy. So, stop waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect version of yourself. The time is now. The world is waiting for you to show up, flaws and all. And trust me, that's when the real magic happens. How many times have you waited for the perfect moment to start something new? You tell yourself, once I have more experience, then I'll begin. Or maybe, I just need a little more time to figure everything out, and then I'll take the leap. But what if I told you that waiting is the very thing keeping you from your dreams? What if the secret to success isn't in waiting until you're ready, but in starting before you are? The idea of being fully prepared before you take action is something we all want. We want to feel confident, capable, and sure that we're making the right decision. But here's the thing. No one is ever fully prepared. Everyone who's ever done something remarkable, big or small, didn't wait until they were perfectly ready. They started with what they had, no matter how much doubt or uncertainty lingered. And here's why. The truth is, starting before you're ready is the key to growth. It's easy to think that you'll be more successful if you plan every detail or wait until everything aligns perfectly. But the reality is that life doesn't hand you perfect conditions. Things will never be just right. And if you wait for that moment, you might be waiting forever. The best way to learn, improve, and make progress is by diving in and figuring it out along the way. Starting before you're ready forces you to take action, even when you feel uncertain. It's a powerful way to overcome perfectionism and the fear of failure. When you take that first step, you learn. You make mistakes, yes, but with each one, you gain new insights, new skills, and a deeper understanding of what works and what doesn't. It's through these missteps that you grow. You don't wait to get everything perfect. You adjust, you evolve, and you keep moving forward. Think about it. How many opportunities have you missed because you told yourself you weren't ready? How many dreams have you put on hold because you wanted to feel more confident or knowledgeable? By not starting, you're letting fear decide your future, and trust me, fear is a terrible decision maker. Fear will keep you stuck in place, while action moves you forward. Starting before you're ready is your way of telling fear, I'm not waiting anymore, I'm taking action, even if it's messy and uncertain. The funny thing is, you might look back in a year, 5 years, or 10 years, and realize that all the waiting you did wasn't necessary. The moments you thought you had to wait for, they passed, and you were still on the sidelines, watching others move ahead. But the ones who succeeded weren't waiting. They took the leap, even when the jump seemed risky. And they got there. Because they started, not because they waited. Here's the powerful thing about starting before you're ready. It builds confidence. Confidence doesn't magically appear before you start. It's created in the process. The more you show up, even when you don't feel prepared, the more you realize that you can handle challenges, adapt to changes, and keep moving forward despite the unknown. Remember, the biggest risk isn't in taking action. It's in staying stuck in the cycle of waiting, stuck in the comfort of someday. There's no magic moment where everything comes together perfectly. There's only the present, and the choice you make today to move forward, even if it's messy. So, what's stopping you? Is it fear? Uncertainty? The belief that you need to be perfectly prepared? I'm here to tell you, start anyway. Take that first step, no matter how small. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be something. Every step you take will get you closer to where you want to be, and soon enough, you'll look back and realize that starting before you were ready was the best decision you ever made. Because the truth is, you don't need to be ready to begin. You just need to begin. And everything else will fall into place. We've all been there. You've worked hard, poured your heart and soul into something, and then it fails. It could be a failed project, a dream that didn't come to fruition, or even a personal goal that seemed just out of reach. Failure doesn't feel good. It can feel like a punch in the gut, like you've wasted time, energy, and resources. But here's the thing. Failure doesn't have to be the end of your journey. In fact, it could be the beginning of something even greater. You see, we're often taught to avoid failure at all costs. Society tells us that success is about getting everything right on the first try, about being perfect from the get-go. But that's a myth. No one, and I mean no one, achieves greatness without first failing. What's more important than avoiding failure is learning how to turn it into something powerful, something that propels you forward instead of holding you back. The truth is, failure's a part of the process. It's not something that happens to you, it's something that happens for you. Every failure is an opportunity to learn. Each misstep is a lesson, a chance to figure out what doesn't work so you can move closer to what does. So, why do we treat failure like it's something shameful or to be feared? Why do we act like falling down means we've lost? Instead, we should view failure as a necessary step in our journey, a stepping stone that leads us closer to success. When you fail, you're given the unique opportunity to reflect. What went wrong? What could you have done differently? What have you learned about yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses? These questions are the foundation for growth. When you stop seeing failure as something to avoid and start seeing it as a tool for improvement, you unlock the true power of resilience. Think about some of the greatest success stories in history. People who failed time and time again before they succeeded. Thomas Edison, for example, failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Walt Disney was told he wasn't creative enough. And yet, all of these people turned their failures into stepping stones that led them to unimaginable success. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't the number of failures they experience. It's how they respond to them. Successful people don't let failure stop them. They let it fuel them. They get up, dust themselves off, and keep going. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of it. So what can you learn from your failures? First, understand that failure doesn't define you. It's a moment in time, not a permanent label. Failing at something doesn't mean you are a failure. It means you tried something that didn't work. And that's okay. In fact, it's better than okay. It's necessary. Second, embrace the idea of failing forward. This means taking each failure as an opportunity to move forward with more knowledge, more experience, and more clarity. Every time you fall, you have the chance to rise with a new perspective. You learn what doesn't work so that you can refine your approach and make progress. This mindset is what separates those who quit from those who keep going. When you fail forward, you don't let setbacks keep you down. You use them as stepping stones to the next chapter in your journey. Lastly, understand that failure is often a redirection, not a dead end. Sometimes the universe, or life, or fate, whatever you believe in, is telling you that there's a better path, a more aligned route for you to take. The road you thought you were meant to be on might not be the right one, and failure is the signal that it's time to try something else. Rather than seeing failure as a closed door, see it as an open window leading you to new possibilities. So, the next time you fail, don't be discouraged. Don't let the fear of failure keep you from trying again. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to grow? Turn your failures into your stepping stones, because every time you fall, you're one step closer to the success you deserve. Remember, failure isn't the end of the road, it's just the beginning of a new chapter. And who knows? That chapter might just be your greatest success story yet. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, who am I to speak up? What difference would my voice make? Maybe you've looked at people who seem to have it all together, those confident speakers, and wondered why you're not one of them. You've convinced yourself that your voice doesn't matter, that someone else will take the lead, that someone else has more to say. Or maybe you feel you just don't have the right to take up space. But what if I told you that the world needs your voice right now? Yes, your voice. The one that feels small, the one that feels unsure, the one that is hidden away because you don't think it's important enough to be heard. The truth is, the world is waiting for you to speak up. Not because you have all the answers, but because your perspective, your experiences, your unique point of view are exactly what's missing. We live in a time when the world is full of noise. Everyone has an opinion. Social media is flooded with voices shouting louder and louder, vying for attention. In a sea of voices, it can be easy to feel like yours is just a drop in the ocean, insignificant and unimportant. But here's something crucial to understand. Your voice is the one the world needs to hear most right now. Why? Because only you have your exact experiences, thoughts, and dreams. Only you can communicate what you feel in the way that you can. Sure, others may speak on similar topics or share similar messages, but no one can deliver it with the same authenticity and perspective that you can. Your voice is not just a tool for expressing opinions. It's a tool for connecting with others, for creating change, and for contributing something meaningful to the world. Think about it. The people you admire, the ones who inspire you, didn't hold back because they thought someone else would say it better. They didn't keep their ideas to themselves because they felt they weren't qualified. They spoke up because they knew their voice mattered. It mattered to someone. Maybe it wasn't everyone, but it was enough to create an impact. And guess what? Your voice has the same potential to make that kind of impact. The world needs people who are brave enough to speak their truth, even when it feels vulnerable. The world needs people who aren't afraid to step into the conversation and share their ideas, their stories, their experiences. Every time you speak up, you create an opportunity for someone else to feel seen, heard, and understood. Every time you share what you're going through, there's someone out there who will resonate with it. Someone who will feel less alone, less isolated. But it's not just about others, it's about you too. When you find the courage to use your voice, you not only help the world, you help yourself. You grow, you heal, you find your confidence. The act of speaking up, of standing in your truth, is empowering. It forces you to confront your fears, to challenge the doubts that have been holding you back, and to take ownership of who you are and what you have to offer. The world doesn't need you to be perfect. It doesn't need you to have everything figured out. It doesn't need you to be a polished speaker or a flawless writer. The world just needs you to show up and share what you have. The world needs your voice because your thoughts, your experiences, and your perspective are a valuable contribution. When you speak up, you contribute to the richness of human experience, to the shared journey of growth, understanding, and connection. Now, let's be real for a moment. Speaking up isn't always easy. It can be intimidating. The fear of judgment, rejection, and even failure can keep you silent for far too long. But here's the thing. The longer you wait, the longer the world misses out on what you have to offer. The longer you hide your voice, the longer someone out there remains lost, waiting for exactly what you have to say. Your voice is the missing piece for someone, even if you don't see it yet. So, here's your invitation. Don't hold back. Don't let fear silence you. Don't let the voice of doubt convince you that you're not worthy of speaking up. The world needs what you have to say. Your voice matters. Right now. Not in a year, not when you feel ready, but right now. Speak up. Share your story. Be part of the conversation. Because the world is waiting to hear your voice. It's time to stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "Why not me?" You have something valuable to contribute, and the world needs it now more than ever. Your voice can inspire change, bring people together, and create a ripple effect that you may never fully realize. But it all starts with you speaking up. So, what are you waiting for? The world is listening.